The night was heavy with mist, clinging to the ancient stones of the Westenra estate. A pale moon hung like a weary sentinel above the sprawling gardens, casting silver light upon the hedges that curled like shadows themselves. Within the grand bedroom of Lucy Westenra, candles sputtered against the weight of the midnight air. Her breath rose in fragile rhythm, restless, uneasy. Lucy had been falling ill for weeks, fading as though life itself was retreating from her veins. Doctors had puzzled over her pallor, her sudden exhaustion, her strange dreams. Yet none could explain the deep unease that plagued her nights. On this night, she stirred beneath her sheets, the lace collar of her nightgown drawn protectively at her throat. A storm gathered in the east, thunder rumbling distantly. The air grew colder as though a presence entered the room unseen. The window latch, secured earlier by her maid, creaked. The glass pane shuddered against the frame. Slowly, impossibly, it opened without touch. A swirl of mist poured inside, slithering like serpents of smoke, coiling across the carpet. The candles flickered violently, shadows stretched long and thin across the walls. From within the mist, a shape emerged. Count Dracula, tall, cloaked in black, his face as pale as moonlight and carved with aristocratic sharpness. His eyes glowed red like embers smoldering in the dark. His presence seemed to pull the warmth from the room itself, leaving only a chill that made Lucy's breath tremble. Lucy stirred, but did not wake fully. Her lips parted slightly, whispering some phantom word, perhaps the echo of her dream. The Count moved toward her bed, the sweep of his cloak gliding as though carried by the very mist itself. He stood above her, gazing down with hunger and fascination. Her beauty, delicate and youthful, shone even through her sickness. Her pulse flickered visibly at the slender column of her throat, vulnerable beneath the lace. Such purity, he murmured in his heavy accent, the words like velvet touched with steel. Such sweetness of life. He reached out a pale hand, long fingers brushing her cheek with a cold tenderness. Her eyes fluttered open. For a fleeting moment she met his gaze. Terror and enchantment warred within her, but his hypnotic stare bound her will as surely as chains. "You are here," she whispered weakly, though she did not know if she spoke in dream or waking. Dracula lowered himself, his cloak spilling like dark wings around the bed. His lips hovered above her throat, his breath cold against her burning skin. Then, with a sudden, almost reverent movement, he bared his fangs. Two ivory blades glinted in the moonlight. They sank into her neck. Lucy gasped sharply, her body arching, fingers clawing at the sheets. A rush of crimson warmth filled his mouth, and he drank deeply, his eyes closing in satisfaction. The room seemed to pulse with the rhythm of her heartbeat, growing fainter with every draw. Her voice was a fragile cry, half pleasure, half pain, caught between life and surrender. Her arms, once thrashing weakly, fell limply to her sides. Her skin grew whiter still, her lips paling to match the deathly hue of her face. Dracula lifted his head at last. Blood stained his lips like a crimson bloom. He gazed at her with hunger not yet quenched, but restrained, for she was too precious to drain entirely. His tongue traced the wound, sealing it with unholy charm. Lucy's eyes fluttered closed again, exhaustion pulling her into a faint. She lay pale and still, her chest rising shallowly. A soft smile, disturbingly serene, touched her lips, as if she dreamed of some dark lover embracing her beyond the veil of consciousness. The Count rose, his shadow stretching monstrously along the wall. He pulled his cloak tight around himself, mist curling once more to envelop his form. Before vanishing into the night, he looked back one last time. "This is but the beginning," he whispered. The window shuttered closed as the storm outside broke, lightning splitting the sky. Rain lashed against the glass, but within the room, Silence reigned, save for the faint, weakening breath of Lucy Westenra. Her fate was sealed.